Alright, hello class, this is Miss Pomeroy. So, what we didn't cover was transformations. So make sure that you have your worksheet out and you're writing your name, the date, and class period. Now, transformations. Transformations is an operation that maps an original figure called the pre-image. Okay, because the suffix pre means before. Okay, so our original figure is what we start with, hence pre-image. Now, an operation that maps an original figure, the pre-image, onto a new figure. The new figure we call the image. Okay, and what the operation means is just, okay, am I doing a reflection, a translation? What kind of transformation are we talking about? That's what they mean. Now, a transformation can change the size, the shape, or the location of the figure. Okay, so for example, reflection. Reflection is like a flip or a mirror. Okay, just like if I'm looking at myself in the mirror, that is a reflection. Now, it is a flip over a line called the line of reflection. So if I look at this triangle over here, pretend that this is me looking at the mirror, well, it's going to give the mirror of myself. This line of reflection is what's between me and the mirror. Now, whenever I reflect something, each point, so if I look at C to the line of reflection and C prime to the line of reflection, that is the same distance from that line. Whenever we reflect, it's the same distance from the line of reflection. Now, possible lines of reflection are the x-axis, the y-axis, vertical and horizontal lines. Well, vertical is the y-axis, so we might have y equaling some number, which we'll discuss, or horizontal is x equals some number. Now, lastly is diagonal lines. Diagonal lines will be such as y equals x or y equals negative x. Don't mind that bell. So, what we're focusing on today is the x-axis and the y-axis. Okay, you'll be watching a video and taking notes over the other four, which we will also further discuss, so don't worry. So if we look at number 1, okay, I already graphed the pre-image they gave me. It says that we're going to reflect it over the x-axis. So if I'm reflecting over the x-axis, if I look at A is 2 units away from my line of reflection. My line of reflection is the x-axis. So if A is 2 units away, I mirror it. It's the same distance. So 1, 2. Now we don't call it A. We now call this A prime. A prime means, okay, after I transformed it, this is my image point. Now I do the same. C is 1 unit from the x, so I mirror that. Same with B. B is 7 units away, so I'm going to mirror 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. And I call it B prime because that is my new image point. So I'm going to connect my lines. And I like to shade the image. So that way I know what I'm looking at. I know which one's the pre-image, which one's the image. Okay? I now want you to take a moment. I graphed the pre-image. I want you to take a moment to graph this, and then you're going to reflect it. Okay? So pause the video and try it on your own. Okay, now that you've had time, I hope you paused it to try it. So, graphing this, I hope you're reading the instructions. Instead of the x-axis, it now says the y-axis. So now, my y-axis is my line of reflection. So, G is 2 units away. F is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they have to count as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know it's hard to see. I know it's small, but do your best. I is 8 units, so I mirror. Now if we look at H, H is lying on the line of reflection. So H is not moving anywhere. It didn't move anywhere. So therefore, H is also our H prime, because that point lies on the line of reflection. It does not move. So this would be my image. Now one thing that we do need to also write down, which I also did not do in the previous problem, is we have to write down our ordered pairs. So if I look at these ordered pairs, so for example, okay, my ordered pairs for A prime, B prime, C prime, I have -4, 2, 4, -7, and 5, -1. Now notice, if I compare A to A prime, my X stayed the same, but my Y also actually changed to a negative. So when I reflect over the x-axis, my x stays the same, my y changes. Now, if we're reflecting over the y-axis, so instead of the y changing, now, if it's reflecting over the y-axis, the y's all stay the same. Notice I'm just putting all my y's where they were. But my x's change. So instead of a -5, I have a +5. Instead of a -2, I have a +2. Well, opposite of 0 is still 0. Opposite of -8 is 8. And then if I verify, I can look and say, okay, I have 2, -2. And that is G prime. Okay, I had that right. F prime should be 2, 4, 5, -2. Yes. So there's two ways to every problem. One way is you can remember the rule. Okay, if I'm reflecting over the y-axis, the y stays the same. If I reflect over the x-axis, the x values stay the same. Okay? So that is reflections. Alright, class, so next we have translations. Translations is just you're sliding a figure or shifting. So I'm vertically or horizontally sliding a figure. That just means, okay, if I'm in my house and I decide to move my furniture, well, I'm sliding my furniture around the house. I am translating my furniture inside my house to change it up. Now, symbolically, this is the format you'll see translations. I start with some ordered pair, x, y. This arrow means, okay, I'm doing a certain type of transformation. Well, we're going to add some number k to my x's and some number h to my y's. Okay, we'll get to this, don't worry, so don't freak out. So my k represents my horizontal shift or slide. Okay, so I'm shifting on the x-axis. Well, the x-axis is horizontal. So I'm going to horizontally slide. Now my h's, well, that is on the y-axis. So I'm going to be vertically. I'm going to do a vertical shift or slide. Okay? So let's take a look at an example. Number 1. I already plotted my pre-image points. Remember, pre-image does not have the tick marks. Pre-image is before my original figure. Now notice it says +5 to x, +7 to y. I'm sorry, I had to make sure I said that right. So there's two ways. Here's one way. See if this makes sense. It says to add 5 to every x. So I'm going to add 5 to every x. Okay, so I'm adding 5 to every x. And it says to add 7 to every y. Okay. Add 7. Now, this is where integers come in. Okay, so we have to think about this. If I look at this, I have -6 plus 5. That's -1. I have 7 minus 1. That's 6. -3 plus 5 is 2. 1 plus 7 is 8. 1 plus 5 is 6. -5 plus 7 is 2. 5 minus 2, I can always go backwards, that's 3. And 7 take away 7 is 0. Look at that. Just by doing this method, I already have my image points, and then I can plot them. But if you don't like it, it is fine. Another way you can do it, if you don't like this or it's not making sense, well, if I start at R, I'm going to be going right 5 units and up 7. So, therefore, if I look at R, I'm going to go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, it's overlapping that. So, therefore, I'm going to have 2, 8 for R prime. If I look, hey, R prime, 2, 8. I did that right. So let's do S. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this should be 2, 4, 6, comma 2. Excellent. That's what we got. And you keep going from there, and then you'll plot your points, and you'll have your image. So what I want you to do, I want you to plot this E, D, C. Plot these pre-image points and try number 2. Alright, so your picture should look something like this. Now, if you notice that maybe you moved it to the right 3 up 8, notice now it's a subtract 3. So if I'm subtracting 3, I'm going to go left 3 up 8. Left 3 up 8. So if I subtract 3 from every x, 2 minus 3 is -1. 7 minus 3 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. Then add 8 to every y. 8 minus 1 is 7. -4 plus 8 is 4. -6 plus 8 is 2. And then you can double check and verify that is correct. The last thing we're going to talk about is now, instead of being given a rule and graphing, they want you to give the rule, tell them the rule given their graph. Now, always start with your letter that does not have a prime. You're going to start with, I'm going to choose D and D prime. You could choose F and F prime, E or E prime. Same thing. But make sure you start with the pre-image. So I notice D goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the right, up 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll verify. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for F is going up 3 to get to F prime. So my rule is x comma y. I am translating it x plus 7 comma y plus 3 because I went in the positive direction for both. Alright, so your homework. If I go back to the front for transformations, for 1B, this is for class 1B, you're going to do 2 and 4 for homework. Don't worry about the right side yet. We haven't gone over those. Go to the back. You're going to do 3, 4, 5, 6, and number 8. Okay? So I want you to do those problems for homework, and that's going to be due on Tuesday. Alright? Okay. Have a great weekend, guys. I'll see you then.